Welcome to this explainer. Right now, literally within arm's reach, most of us have a device that is quietly but constantly dictating our self-worth. I mean, think about it. We wake up, we check it. We go to sleep, we check it. Today, we're diving straight into that silent, digital machine we all live inside. We are going to explore how we've inadvertently traded our true, authentic selves for a continuous, exhausting drip of external validation. But more importantly, we're going to discover how ancient wisdom, insights forged thousands of years before the very first smartphone was even an idea, can actually help us reclaim our minds. Okay, let's dive into this.
Post, wait, refresh, count, compare. It's a pretty familiar rhythm, isn't it? You post something you find funny or maybe meaningful, you wait. You pull down on the screen to refresh. You count the likes as they trickle in. And then, inevitably, you compare your numbers with someone else's. You get this sudden, sharp pang of anxiety when the number falls short, and a tiny, fleeting rush of euphoria when it spikes. Then, muscle memory just takes over, and you start the whole thing all over again. This is the addictive, invisible loop that dictates our daily digital habits. It operates so smoothly in the background that most of us run through these 5 steps without even realizing it's happening.
Now, this cycle we just walked through, it's not a coincidence, and it is certainly not some flaw in your character. It is a highly perfected mechanism built by literally some of the smartest engineers on the planet. You see, platforms don't actually make money from your content. Your vacation photos and your clever thoughts are just the byproduct. What they actually monetize is your need to be seen. Every single notification is a carefully calculated microdose of validation, and every absence of a notification is a manufactured pang of doubt, specifically designed to bring you right back to the app. They've built a multi-billion-dollar business model entirely around exploiting our deeply ingrained biological desire for social validation.
Which brings us to a very uncomfortable question. I want you to pause for a second and really ask yourself, if all your followers disappeared tomorrow, who would you be? If the accounts just vanished, the likes were wiped totally clean, and the digital applause went completely silent, what is left of your actual identity? Just let that silence linger for a second. It is a terrifying thought, honestly, because it completely challenges our core sense of identity in the modern age.
So, the crucial point here is this. If who you are is measured in numbers you do not control, if your worth depends entirely on the fleeting reactions of absolute strangers scrolling mindlessly on their phones during a commute, then you haven't actually built an identity, you're just wearing a mask. An identity built on the foundation of external approval is incredibly fragile. And the worst part? We've worn it for so long we've totally forgotten it's a mask. You are basically just renting an identity based on a tech platform's metrics, and eventually, that lease is going to expire.
Section 1. Ancient Wisdom. Consulting the Mentors of Antiquity. We really need an antidote to this modern crisis. It's time to step away from the fleeting, neon anxiety of the digital matrix and ground ourselves in the permanent, solid marble stability of the ancient philosophers.
Enter the philosopher emperor, Marcus Aurelius. Now, this was a man who ruled the entire Roman Empire, someone who actually had massive audiences cheering his name in real life, yet he gives us this brilliant, humbling reminder. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Do not behave as if your digital life were eternal. Fame is completely fickle, and your followers won't follow you to the grave. Eventually, every single one of your carefully crafted posts, every viral moment you've ever had, will be completely lost in the archive of oblivion. Yet even knowing this, we still spend hours of our finite lives agonizing over a curated image that doesn't even truly belong to us.
Aurelius absolutely knew that the approval of the crowd is notoriously volatile. The exact same people who cheer for you today will turn around and condemn you tomorrow for a simple misstep. And in our digital world, that volatility is on hyperdrive. The same algorithm that warmly promotes you today, rocketing your content to the top of everyone's feed, will happily and indifferently bury you tomorrow the second the math changes. The same digital community that celebrates your hot take today can mobilize and cancel you before you've even had breakfast tomorrow. It is a wildly unstable foundation for a human ego.
Next up, we have Epictetus, who is even more direct and uncompromising. He states, "If you want to be free, do not wish that things happen as you want. Wish them to happen as they happen." Epictetus was a former slave, so he understood the true, visceral nature of liberty. For him, freedom wasn't about getting whatever you desire or forcing the world to applaud you. It was about totally severing your emotional dependence on things that simply do not depend on you.
True freedom is an internal state. It's actively not needing what you cannot control. Contrast that with the modern trap we are constantly sold: digital freedom. We're told that having a massive audience and constant 24/7 connectivity equals freedom. But in reality, it's a paradox. It's a relentless, exhausting chase for external validation. Remember, the like button does not depend on you. The algorithm's distribution does not depend on you. The daily mood of your follower base does not depend on you. So by Epictetus' logic, constantly chasing those external metrics doesn't make you powerful at all, it literally makes you a slave to the platform.
Now you might be thinking, but wait, we are humans, we literally need other people. And you know what? You're absolutely right. As social animals, the recognition of others has always been a powerful signal of belonging. Historically, if you go back thousands of years, the tribe that sees you and accepts you is the exact same tribe that protects you from predators and starvation. So wanting to be seen is a completely healthy, legitimate, hardwired tribal survival instinct. The unhealthy part, the deeply toxic digital addiction we're talking about, happens when you absolutely need that external applause just to define who you are, when a lack of likes feels like a literal threat to your very existence.
This brings in another philosophical heavyweight, Seneca, with this incredibly radical perspective. No one's life is poor if they are content with what they have. But let's be honest with ourselves. Today, we are almost never content with what we have. Why? Because we are completely obsessed with what everyone else has. You open an app on a random Tuesday evening and immediately see someone's highlight reel, the perfect tropical vacation, the flawless relationship, the incredible meal, and suddenly your perfectly fine normal life feels completely inadequate. This constant, daily comparison with beautifully curated, heavily filtered lives is the absolute fuel of our perpetual digital dissatisfaction.
And then, of course, there's Diogenes the Cynic. This guy lived in a literal barrel in the streets of Athens, and not as some trendy, minimalist tiny home experiment, but because he deeply understood that true freedom is not about having more, it's about needing less. And that absolutely includes the need for social approval. Diogenes achieved total, complete sovereignty over his mind. There's this amazing historical anecdote where Alexander the Great, literally the most powerful man in the known world, stood in front of Diogenes' barrel and offered him absolutely anything he desired: riches, power, fame, you name it. Diogenes just squinted up at him and simply replied, "Stand out of my light." He needed nothing. He needed no one's approval, not even an emperor's. His totally unbothered life was his ultimate statement.
Section 2. Reclaiming your sovereignty, the internal algorithm. Okay, so we don't all need to give away our possessions and move into barrels on the street. But how can we actually apply these ancient principles to stop depending on others in our hyper-connected world? How do we build a resilient internal algorithm?
Well, we return to Marcus Aurelius for the foundation of this solution. You have power over your mind, not over external events. This is a rule that honestly should be engraved on the back of every single smartphone we buy. Likes, comments, followers, retweets, shares, these are all external events. They are entirely outside your locus of control. You can try to influence them, sure, but you can never ever guarantee them. But what you think of yourself, your own character, your integrity, your self-respect, that resides entirely in your mind. And over that, you have absolute, unbreakable power.
The Stoic path doesn't mean you have to isolate yourself or go delete all your apps right now, but it does give us a clear roadmap to stop depending on others to define who we are. You must reclaim sovereignty over your own judgment. Instead of desperately tweaking your personality just to be liked by an algorithm, seek to be worthy of being liked, authentically, in the real world. Build a solid life without hypocrisy, where your private actions actually match your public persona. Because the approval that really matters, the only approval that will actually sustain you through the highs and lows, comes from internal coherence. It comes from knowing that even if the whole world goes offline tomorrow and absolutely no one is applauding you, you approve of yourself first.
Listen, the problem is not wanting to be seen. The problem is needing to be seen in order to exist.
And that brings us to the end of this explainer. When the lease on your digital mask finally expires, when the screen eventually goes dark, the platform shuts down, and the algorithm moves on to the next big trend, what permanent identity will actually remain underneath? I'll leave you with that thought. Don't wait for the tech platforms to change their business models, because spoiler alert, they won't. Start building your true internal sovereignty today.